get started, I had to wait for the thumbs up from our broadcasting. My name is Brian Conning. I'm a teacher at the high school. I recognize some of you. I've been here for a few years. First of all, thank you so much for being here. We're here tonight to recognize some of Algona's finest athletes. And before we get started, I want to thank you for being here, number one, and also for everybody that's helped put this night together. As you know, we take nominations throughout the year. We take those nominations and give them to an anonymous committee. They go through and select people, and there's a lot of them that are eligible and worthy of the Wall of Fame. And I noticed some of you had a chance to look around at the people that are on that wall, and it really is a great example of excellence. And tonight we have an opportunity to recognize some individuals and one team that represented Algona at the highest levels. The Algona High School Wall of Fame was established to recognize individuals and teams who have achieved great success at the high school and or college level, as well as coaches and community members who have left a lasting impression on AHS athletics. It's the hope of the Wall of Fame committee that these individuals will help to motivate and inspire current and future Bulldogs as they work towards achieving their own success. Tonight, we'd like to take a little time to recognize our newest members of the Algona High School Wall of Fame. Our first inductee is going to be introduced by Mr. Greg Wellman. Greg?
First of all, what an honor. Brian came over and thanked me again for taking time to do this, and I said, when I can be around this much excellence, I will never pass it up. It's quite an honor. I pass these walls every day. I look up there, and I'm old enough to start to realize that I've been around for a lot of them, and the ones I haven't, I enjoy the stories. So I appreciate you allowing me to be up here. It is my honor. I was trying to get Coach McMahon to come up here, but he's doing a little hill workout with his granddaughter right now, so we're going to get her in the Wall of Fame soon. But it is my honor to introduce to you the class. First person in the class on the Wall of Fame is Ryan McMahon. Ryan, come on up. See, this reminds me of the days where I did our little end of the year banquet, so I made you stand up here while I talked. Makes you feel better. Ryan is an outstanding multi-sport athlete here at AHS. During his career in basketball, he received state and conference recognition multiple times, including twice being named to the All-NCC team. As a member of the cross-country team, Ryan was a three-time conference champion as an individual and team. At the state meet, he finished in the top 4 spots as an individual in each of his 4 seasons and was a member of the state title team in 2009. In track and field, Ryan was a member of 4 NCC championship teams and is the holder of the NCC 3,200 meter record, which is, I remember that from last year. We were looking at that, oh, Ryan, he still holds it.
I didn't know I still had it.
I was shocked too, but no, I wasn't shocked, but I was happy. At the state level, McMahon won astonishing 12 medals at the state meet during his career. I went through my records and broke them down. Holy buckets. 3,200 meters, he finished 2nd, 4th, 3rd, 2nd. 1,600 meters, 1st, 4th, 5th, 800, 8th. That was after the 1,600, remember that race? 2nd in the medley, 6th, 1st, and 1st in the 4x8, and you were a Drake medalist as well. So that's outstanding. Which contributed to being a member of the 2000 state runner-up team and the 2010 team that finished 3rd. Ryan was a great leader. Ryan capped off his stellar career by winning the 2011 state title in the 1,600 meter run. Ryan was one of those athletes immediately when he came there. You hear a lot in football, they talk about a force multiplier. When Ryan, Michael, and Chad, who's up on that board, were on that practice, the kids around him, the athletes wanted to be better. he just made that happen. And kids were like coming in, what do I need to do? And we're like, well, to be on the team, you need to, no, what do I need to do to place at state? And I think one of the safe bets we ever did was just run with Ryan. And it happened. It is an honor to have been your coach. It was an honor to work with your dad. You got a great family, and you have a new family. And man, time flies, but I couldn't feel anybody more deserving of this than you. And it's an honor to be here, but I do have to apologize. I never saw you win the state championship. I think 15 meters out from you crossing the finish line, I was hugging Jim and we were dancing up and down. And I'm grateful there are no cell phones around at that time. Because I probably was blubbering a little bit too. I was so happy. But Ryan, congratulations. Let's welcome Ryan McMahon.
I just want to thank everyone for the whole process of inducting me into the Hall of Fame. I think back to my time at Algona and just saying how different things are. No middle school was there, no performing arts center. It's just crazy how things have came along, and I really appreciate being a part of this. I still follow the Bulldogs a lot. I'll pay attention to football games, even though I never played a snap of padded football. I follow the basketball teams. I follow Coach McLaughlin's girls team. It's really an honor to be part of the Algona alumni. When I think back to my time at Algona, it really boils down to just the memories I have. I'm no longer in as good a shape as I once was. Not quite. Can't dribble basketball very well anymore. I'm not very fast, but it really boils down to the memories. The memories for cross country, I remember our freshman year going down to the state meet. It was a beautiful day. We got 8th, but it was okay. But just the day after that, playing basketball with the team, playing Halo all night. It's kind of my first team sports, high school. This is a cool experience moment, and then we were able to win state the next year. In basketball, I remember my sophomore year, Coach McLaughlin running us ragged for some reason. I think I ran more my sophomore year in basketball than I did in cross country, which was when we won state. But thinking back to that, I remember my junior year in Jeff Gym in Webster City. It always seems dimmer in my memory. I just felt like that gym was really dim, but I got fouled on a three-pointer at half court with 1 second left. Not quite sure why I got fouled, but I somehow made 3 free throws in a row, which I think was the only time in my high school career I did that, and we won the game. And then state track. Those were the best days. Just hanging out with your team, competing here and there. The Saturday I finally won state, a couple hours before, a friend of mine even asked me, how does it feel you never won an individual title? I was so close so many times. And honestly, I didn't think I was going to win the mile. I'll be honest, it wasn't my best race. But so I even said, you know, it's kind of unfortunate. It is what it is. But I still remember running that race. I remember Grab yelling at me with about 300 meters to go to get going. I remember crossing the finish line, putting my finger in the air. I remember turning around and waiting a couple seconds for my brother to finish. But what I remember most of all was coming off that track, and there's a crowd of people hanging out. And I see my dad, I see the pride in his eyes, I see the emotion in his eyes. And it's moments like that, memories like that that'll live forever. It's a memory I want to see for my daughters, and it's something that I'll never forget. So I want to thank everyone for being part of this. I was blessed to have awesome teammates, great coaches, supportive family, and a twin brother that helped me every step of the way and compete. So thanks everyone.
All right, next we have a team that we're going to recognize and to introduce the 1987 boys golf team state championship group, Coach L.R. Keek.
Gentlemen from that team, please come up with me. And we are missing one individual, Brett Emmerich, who should be here. He was a part of the team, and he has taken ill and just not in the health situation to make this trip. So, gentlemen, let's tell the people where you now live.
La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Technically here.
Brian Peterson, I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina.
I live in Des Moines, Iowa.
Okay, starting with the first person, that is a Peterson. And if you go to the third guy, guess what his name is? It's another Peterson, and they are brothers. And they both were basketball players and golfers. Taller guy, the first taller guy, is Matt Peterson. Oh, you're not part of the same family, right? Okay. And then the tallest one of ours is a Mixdor, and that happens to be Matt Mixdor.
Or Mark.
Mark, what did I say?
It's okay, you said Matt. Just like my mom.
They did give me some notes that I could have looked at. Here was the greatest thing about them being able to accomplish. It's a 2-day state tournament, and they rotate what town you go to. The year that this team won, we were sent to Atlantic, Iowa. Everybody know where Atlantic, Iowa is? It's dang near in Missouri. Head toward Council Bluffs, and then drop another few miles down by the Missouri border. Do you think we ever went down there to practice? And of course, the answer is no. You know, you're not going to have a high school team that you can ask the principal, hey, do you care if we take the school car and head to Atlantic? We're going to practice. Well, that just didn't work out. So that's one amazing thing. They're going in blind compared to most people who have practiced on a golf course. First day, we did our normal good thing. They were always a good team, but to win a state, you have to rise up a little bit. Good in the conference, good in northern Iowa and all that, but now you got to take on teams that are from the Des Moines area, or every place in Iowa you can think of. Well, the second day, only having 18 holes of previous acquaintance with the course, these guys took control and just scored a second day score that is almost unbelievable how good they did. And when you add the 2 days together, that's why we have what we call the state title plaque. And it's the trophies down in one of those places. Okay? The only golf team in the history of Algona to ever make it to the state tournament and to win the championship. I would like now let's tell the people who your parents are, and parents, if you're here, please stand so the rest of the crowd will know.
Dan and Sandy Peterson.
Dan and Sandy Peterson. Not only are they responsible for this one, but raise your hand if you also say that. That's pretty darn good, right? Congratulations, Dan and Sandy. Hey, Matt.
Chris Peterson.
And the late Martin Peterson was his father. Okay?
My parents are Jay and Kathy Mixdor.
And of course, you all know him as Doc, right? Parents, thank you for sharing your son with Algona High School and with the coaches that have him in a variety of sports. We're very honored to have this event tonight, so they can be recognized. There will be a special plaque that will hang somewhere. What was given to us by the state, they took a picture of when these boys were 18 years old, and each of us got that plaque, okay? So, it's our honor to be here, being recognized by the public of Algona. Thanks for attending. Let's give these boys a big hand. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, if you're wondering, the Wall of Fame plaques, I can make sure Ryan knows this. I don't know where Ryan go. You don't get to take that home. Okay. I was nervous about that. So take a lot of pictures tonight, do all that stuff, and then it'll be hung on the wall behind you here, Algona Wall of Fame, and it's a good thing. It looks like we're running out of room. That's a good problem to have here. Our next individual is Larry Taylor, and he's going to be introduced by assistant coach Don Kaminish. So Don, if you'd come on up.
He was coaching.
Before I get going, there are two people that are very important in the being of me being up here. One of those is Brian Connick. Brian has been doing this for many years, and without him, we would not have this. Another one is Chris Sleeper. Chris has done so much for the wrestling world in Algona High School. So I need to thank those two people very much for what they do. Okay, Larry Taylor is deceased, so we have here tonight Jean Taylor and her family. I'd like to have them come up. And we have two people here that was on the state wrestling team that won the state tournament with us tonight, and that is Bill Bodie and Bruce Bennett. Would you two please come up? Do we have any other wrestlers here that wrestled during the time of 1965 through 1969? No one here that old. Okay, a little bit about the wrestling room. In 1965, 6 and 7, it was in the basement of Bryant Elementary. 100-year-old Bryant Elementary. The walls of the wrestling room were brick, held together by 100-year-old concrete. If you take a look at the present wrestling room, they have padding on the wall that's 6 inches thick. Well, we have padding on the wall of the wrestling room too, but it was half-inch plywood. So when the wrestlers would crash into that wall, you could hear the sand and concrete dribble down onto the wrestlers. The managers would have to have a wet towel, they'd go in and clean it up. Or you could come in, crash into the wall, and you could just hear that sand and concrete dribble down on the mannequins. Locker room, we had 2 showers, 40 wrestlers, and we had 4 or 5 lockers. Of course, they never used lockers. They brought their wrestling clothes and everything in a bag, and then they didn't shower. They threw everything in the bag and went home afterwards. steps going down to the wrestling room. The shower room was above. I think the wrestling room was actually the gymnasium for the Algona Community School because it had high ceilings. It had two metal poles that held up the roof of the wrestling room. But they were padded. We took some old mattresses and wrapped them around those two poles so the wrestlers wouldn't get hurt when they fell in. Now, a little bit about Larry Taylor's wrestling. District meet. Oh, first of all, Larry wasn't even supposed to go to the state meet. I'm not sure how that was determined, how Champ, oh, by the way, Champ Martin was the head coach of wrestling at that time. I'm not sure how he decided who was going to wrestle. Randy Riedinger and Larry were both very close. Randy was a state place winner the year before, and somehow Randy was the one that was supposed to go to the state meet. Champ always told wrestlers, make sure you are prepared. If you get third place in sectionals, make sure you're ready to go in case somebody gets hurt, and you can go ahead and go move into district. So it was amazing that Larry had his weight down, and he had one day notice that he was going to go to the state tournament. Flew through sectionals without any trouble. Finals of the district, with 30 seconds to go, he was down 6 points. Larry was very good on his feet, excellent wrestler. He had 6 takedowns in 30 seconds to win by 1. State tournament, Algona had 5 wrestlers in the state tournament. 4 of them went to the final. A little bit about the wrestling tournament in 1968 at the state. 8 wrestlers qualified for each weight. And if you won the first match, you were guaranteed to have at least 4th place. If you lost the first match, you were done. So after the second round, Algona had enough points that no one could beat them. We had 4 people in the final. And we ended up with 2 champions, and the others were runner-up. The night before the wrestling tournament was predicted light snow. And Champ called me at 10 o'clock and said they've changed that from light snow to heavy snow. So we were going to leave at 6 a.m. He said, we better leave at 5 a.m. Got up and ready to go at 5 a.m. We got 8 inches of snow. No one had been on the road when we left Algona. Champ landed in his car, and that was good because I had something to follow. Got to Clarion, the first thing we saw, well, we were east of Clarion, west of Clarion, the road grader was out there removing snow. And I don't know if any of you remember the sharp curve that was west of Clarion, but we approached that curve the same time the snowplow was there. Snowplow slid down in front of Champ, and Champ hit the snowplow with the fender of his car, pushing the fender into the tire so the car would move. So we put all of the wrestlers in the back of my station wagon with their bags. And of course, there were no seat belts, so it doesn't matter. But we got just east of Hampton, and all of a sudden the roads were clear. So we made it to weigh-ins. Weigh-ins was supposed to be at 9 o'clock. We were there about 2 minutes before that, and wrestling was to start at 11. Then, coming home, we had fog. I don't know if you guys remember that or not, but Robbie Claude said, my mother says if we push up on the ceiling of the car, then the fog won't bother us. Simple as that. So everybody came home with their hands on the ceiling, the fog away. Larry went on to win a second state champion as a senior. One of the big meets, which was probably tougher than the state tournament, was the Osage Invitations, which included Algona, West Waterloo, Cedar Falls, and Osage. 4 of the powerhouses in wrestling at that time. Of course, Bob Sidney coached the West Waterloo team. Keith Young, who was a native of Algona, had the Cedar Falls team, and then Chap Martin had the Algona team. So they were friends for many, many years, so it was always interesting to go to the Osage tournament to listen to all the stories that those 3 coaches had to tell. So Larry went through, I think, his senior season undefeated. Outstanding year, second state champion. So we want to thank you folks for coming, and very happy to see you. Also, you two, very happy to see you. And Gene, do you have anything you would like to say? Okay, good.
I just want to thank all of you for giving Larry this opportunity. I get emotional, so sorry. I just wish he was here today to receive this because it would have meant a lot to him. And besides that, it's his birthday today, so it was so appropriate. When Chris told me that she was putting him up and this was the day it was going to be, I says, oh my gosh, that's his birthday. I said, how outstanding would that be to honor him on his day? And he was very proud of his wrestling career. And thank you so much, Phil and Bruce, for coming. He would have been delighted that you were here. And thanks to Chris for nominating him. It's a great honor, and he would have been very proud of this. Thank you.
Our last inductee tonight will be introduced by Tanuk Yi. Mr. Yi, would you come forward?
I cannot wrestle anymore. Before I start, I want to acknowledge some other people that was an important part of Jay's career. Don and Randy. It does not hurt that Jay grew up in a wrestling family. That always helped. He had 2 brothers with him also. Tyler, he's back there, and Corey, I'm sure he's working on a farm right now. Randy coached him also. And Don taught at the school, taught health, and pretty important, just all the nutritional stuff. She was way ahead of her time with all the nutrition, and we're really focused on that as a wrestling squad this year. But before we talk about Jay's wrestling career, my wife, she's not here right now. She's taking care of her mom. But she wanted me to just say,
hey, don't forget to talk about Jay as a person. And as a coach, it's awesome to have a state champion, and you want your wrestlers to do the best they can. But most importantly, we want them to be good human beings. And Jay's a good, great son. He's been a great role model to his brothers, Ty and Corey. He's a great father, and I'm sure he's a great husband. And Jay and I spend a lot of time on the water also. He's trying to be a great fisherman. I'm trying to help him be that person. And maybe someday he'll finally catch his muskie. Have you caught one? No. He's trying. He's trying. Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. Jay was a 4-year varsity wrestler for the Bulldogs from 2000 to 2003. During his career, he compiled an overall record of 121 wins and 18 losses. The 121 wins were the most wins in school history at the time. Jay currently sits in the top 10 in school history in win percentages, winning an incredible 80% of his matches over a 4-year career. During his career, he was a three-time champion in the Always Tough North Central Conference, a 3-time state qualifier, and in 2003, he competed as an undefeated, he already compiled an undefeated season of 37-0 as a Class 2A state champion at 130 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Algona High School Wall of Fame, Jay Nugent.
Well, I didn't prepare a speech, so I'm going to try to make this short. But starting off, I'd like to thank the committee for this recognition. Obviously, to have any kind of success, a lot of it depends on and comes from those people that are supporting you, your foundation, my parents, my coaches, the school, the educators, and also the community of Algona. I was very lucky that we grew up, and I currently decided to live here in this community for that reason. Speaking to Yi, I mean, going through wrestling 4 years, his size was matched perfect for me and Tyler both, and I know he took a lot of bumps and bruises in 4 years. He probably has some scars still. But just to kind of go through how my senior year was and how I think I got the success, besides the success of the support from my coaches, wrestling in the room all the time, and my mom, who was instrumental in helping us cut weight and get down to a weight that we'd be very competitive at. One of the things that I just had in my head is I just was going to put in the time needed, no questions asked. I was going to get my goal. But one of some of the things like the coaches did on the side, especially at the state tournament, they knew that I was better off never knowing who I was going to wrestle, walk onto the mat knowing nothing about them, which I don't even know if you could do in today's world, because with all the social media and stuff, you see everybody's record and all this stuff. I was different. I didn't need to know any of that. I just walked into every match blindfolded, essentially. You told me what moves they use, and so I'd go out onto the mat, into the match, and wrestle according to whatever you told me. And it worked out my senior year. Up until my finals match, I think everything just went out the window, and it was just me and him. And I think the first move that I threw, which I've never thrown in my life, was a left-handed headlock. And
our thoughts sitting in the coach's chairs. No. Yes.
And I was probably lucky. You know, that all success, there's a certain amount of luck that comes with it too. But it worked out, and I have my coaches and school and community to thank. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Go by very much, but I forgot to talk about Pat Hamilton. Pat coached, he was the head coach for 3 years, and Brian was a head coach JC year, and they were instrumental in success of Jay's accomplishments as a wrestler also. Thanks for coming tonight.
I know nothing about wrestling, but I do know a couple things about fishing. And if you want to catch a muskie, you might find a new guide. And it would be cheaper if you just didn't catch one, just from experience. Ladies and gentlemen, how about one more big hand for our newest Wall of Fame? Housekeeping things. Again, thank you for being here. Those of you that were inducted tonight, please wait around for just a minute or two. Mindy Spear is kind of in the back. She will take some pictures so we can get those put out in the paper, etc. Mr. Carter, our superintendent, is standing over here. Mr. Carter is willing to, if anybody would like to see some changes around the place, there's been a few. There's some going on in the back, wrestling people especially. How many mats? 4 mats. A new 4-mat room going in back here. So Don, that's going to be a little different than the basement, right, when they get it done. So if you want to see some of that, Mr. Carter is your guide. You would have gotten a meal ticket tonight. That meal ticket gets you into the game, gets you and a guest into a game, and you and a guest a meal at the tailgate. The only other thing we're asking from you tonight is if you can be down by the entrance to the track at 6:35, no later than 6:35. Mr. Collison is going to recognize you on the track, but if you can be down there at 6:35, we'll have somebody down and kind of get you organized. And again, thank you for everybody that played a part in this. Congratulations. You may not realize it, but our student body does pay attention to that. They do look, they do ask questions. And so thank you for helping to inspire our current student body. Have a great night. Thanks for coming, and go Bulldogs.